Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talktor Who. This is episode 4. I'm here. My name is Link, by the way. I'm here with
Light,
Jen,
Moose,
and Jax is not here today, unfortunately. However, he is here in spirit.
What a bum.
Yes. Okay, so we're looking at episode 3 and 4 because they're a two-parter. And so episode 3 was Aliens of London.
That was episode 4.
Was it episode 4 and 5?
Yeah,
I'm
4 and
sorry.
5.
This is episode 4 and 5. So 4 was Aliens of London, and 5 was World War III. So what did everyone feel about this episode? Did you like it?
Should we give a synopsis first?
Let's do that first. Go ahead, Moose.
I'm not prepared for this. I had to take the dog out during this episode.
All right, Light, you want to take it away?
sure. Ooh, Aliens in London. All right, I've got to reference that song every time I see this episode. It's so good. All right, just the one episode or both episodes?
Do both.
Michelle?
Yeah, you might as well do both
I'll
episodes
go for
because we're
both.
going to be talking about both of them.
Yes, I'll do a big skim through of both episodes. So, we find out Rose and the Doctor were gone for 12 hours. Surprise, they were really gone for 1 year, 12 months. And everyone's real mad. And I find the intro pretty boring, but immediately after that, this becomes one of the most engaging episodes in the first season. At least so far. Lots of crying. I wrote spaceship. And then history is being made because a spaceship crashes suddenly into Big Ben. And the aliens, we find out, are inside of obese people. Again, this is a speedy summary, but that's the idea.
Because they're too large to be in other types of people.
Yep.
Let's be fair about that.
Yes, aliens chose to be, yes, they needed large people. So, significantly, the Doctor gives Rose a TARDIS key. We meet Harriet Jones, the best character ever. They discover a pig thing in the spaceship that hit Big Ben and crashed into the Thames River. And the pig thing really doesn't matter. They kill it, and it's pretty sad. And then a lot of death. People start dying. The other things start killing obese people and using them as their as skin suits. The Doctor calls Mickey Ricky, and then the experts all gather, and we find out
That's a very
that
important plot point
it is.
right there.
I have to mention that right there.
Actually, you
So
know
we
what?
don't-
That
It
actually
is.
is an important
is. Yeah.
plot point because of other spoilers.
Oh yeah, lots of Rickying. They jumping into the second episode, World War III. They kill all of the experts, alien experts that gather, and try to kill the Doctor, but the Doctor does his usual thing and reverses everything, except doesn't save the people. And then that's thoughts. Summary. They talk about emergency protocols, and the aliens have basically taken over government by posing as the head of the sweets department, who apparently takes over for the prime minister if nobody else is available.
I had a comment on that too. It's like, really? That's the last person that you choose?
That's the guy. So they hide. The Doctor and his people hide in the cabinet room, which is filled with or surrounded by metal. They get some missiles and try to prevent the others from getting missiles, the aliens, and then they try to get their own missiles to defeat the aliens, and then they fire off some missiles, and it's a big boom, and it's cool, and then the Doctor and Rose fly off again.
Say missiles one more time.
That's how you say it, missiles.
All right,
Apparently
fantastic.
there's been some kind of grammatical catastrophe going on while I was giving our summary, so it's all right. I'm going to continue to say missiles.
That's
every
perfectly
time.
fine. That's awesome. All right, yeah. So the thing that I noticed on this one was it opens up with the first episode as like the previously on Doctor Who, kind of like how
Veronica Mars.
Victoria Mars. Takes it.
Veronica.
If you've never seen Veronica Mars, it's like previously on Veronica Mars. Then they go like last season. They talk about what happened last season. I'm like,
Well,
really,
it's
guys?
important.
Well, this would be important as well. So I guess I understand why they did it that way. I just thought it was interesting. What parts of this episode stand out for you guys?
Well, for me, it's right after the aliens have crash landed, quote unquote, crash landed, and Rose and the Doctor are up there on the roof together. And Rose is talking about how, she's like the only person on the entire planet that has seen anything alien happen. And I just thought, come on, Rose. You're not special. The doctor has had other people before you. You're not special.
But she thought she was. That's the important bit.
She did, but it
She
kind of
thought she
bothered me
was.
that the doctor didn't bother to correct her.
Yeah, she took learning about UNIT pretty well compared to what I expected for... Like, oh, there are lots of other people
Yeah.
that actually work in the alien business.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't even really talk about Torchwood
Yep.
at all in this episode.
Well, Torchwood wasn't a thing yet.
Oh, it wasn't?
Oh, yeah,
No.
that was-
Oh, what? No, didn't they talk about it earlier?
Captain Jack started Torchwood. Have we met Captain Jack yet? No, we have not.
Technically, we have.
Shh.
All right, so what things...
The dog is thirsty. That's that noise in the background.
That's the noise in the background.
It's not a Slitheen, we promise.
Yeah. Jen, what stood out to you?
Well, I have to say, tongue acting was 3 out of 5, 5 being the worst. So thank goodness she kept it in her mouth this time.
She did have one point, and I do remember when she
Being
was...
Rose.
Yeah. when she was being hounded by her mom, like, where were you? What have you done? Where have you been? And she had her little tongue to the side.
Yeah.
But you're right, it was behind her teeth still.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
good.
For those of you who don't know, I just really don't like Rose's mouth acting
Mouth acting.
terms. Yes. It struck me how public the doctor was. Like, he got taken in by the police and then just, like, lavishes and just, like, is exuberant in front of the camera.
Smile, smile,
Normally,
smile.
like,
Finger guns,
later
finger
on,
guns.
you see him get a little bit more shy and
Yeah.
reserved, and I don't know, it just struck me as something different.
Yeah, in later episodes, he is a lot more reserved. And, I mean, I feel like this is really the only time that you see him kind of be like, oh, I'm famous,
Well, brand new face. Got to get some use out of it.
I suppose.
I'm a poster boy.
There are sometimes, I feel like when he gets called in or called out, I guess, by an organization, he just kind of takes charge no matter how many people are in. Like, if he gets called out by UNIT or something, he's like, hello, I'm going to be in charge now. And just no longer cares about publicity.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I was more referring to, like, the celebrity, like, the cameras of the news versus, like, taking charge of a business meeting. Because when he stepped out, he did, the presidential wave and things.
And Rose commented on that, too. Like, she was starstruck because of how everyone else knew him. That was kind of what stood out to me in that situation. Light, what about you? What was a big factor on this episode?
The biggest thing for me that I thought was strange about the episode was the number of ways that this could have been made a lot better, at least of a situation, by various people. I wrote down a lot of different things, like reach up and unzip the forehead of the alien in front of you and prove that there is in fact an alien right there and they can shoot him.
Well, that would be invading their personal space. Everyone has a bubble. A bubble.
Everyone
Everyone's
also
got a
does have a
bubble.
buttle, especially the Slitheen.
Yes.
Oh.
Not having the confectionery leader as
Good grief.
That's a dog.
the dog. No worries, Lexi's not a child.
Well,
The confectionery leader as the prime minister, the lady, even like just small things like her opening the morgue drawer to reveal the pig. There's just so many things that I'm like, that could have gone so much better.
The pig thing with the morgue. Where's my comment on that?
Unnecessary.
Reason number 437 why I'd never be a mortician.
Yes.
Fear of bodies coming back to life.
well,
How
for goodness
banging.
sakes, that was classic horror movie right
Yeah.
there. What was she thinking?
You don't open that.
No, you do
don't
not
do
open
that.
that.
I don't
Put
do
a
that.
dead alien in here and now it's making noise.
Yeah. That's odd.
It's not even
Let
an
me
alien.
let me check on this again. Although maybe
All by myself when there's a room full of, like, army men clearly right upstairs.
Yeah, of course.
I was also very impressed that it was effectively, this episode was people in alien suits playing aliens in human suits in suits.
Ooh.
That was my
Alienception.
summary. Yeah.
Alienception.
Lots
I
of
like that.
suits.
I gotta say, when I first saw the Slitheen,
Bless you.
Thank you. I just had to laugh because here they start to emerge from these skin suits, and they have like these green baby alien faces. they look like baby faces, and then all of a sudden they just like boop, they're 8 feet tall and they have these big talons and they're really, really fat, and you just think, man, this doesn't make a lot of sense.
And they run like cheetahs.
I personally think that this is probably one of the worst designs for a character in the entire series.
Oh, but what about the aliens that are like all suction cups, the Zygons?
I was thinking about those ones too, actually. Completely honestly, it's like, well, it's either these ones or the Zygons. But I'll let Zygons be Zygons.
Boo.
I've always wanted to make that joke. I was really surprised that in the 50th anniversary special they didn't say anything about that.
And the dog licked the microphone.
And that's okay.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Something that stood out to me was really the predominance of Bad Wolf in this episode. It's really the first time where it actually makes a scene. Like, it's actually a thing that they talk about.
Your comment is more pertinent than mine. I was going to talk about how everyone still loves a good fart joke, no matter how old you are.
I said classic humor. Fart jokes and fat people. That's
and
classic
British people
humor.
trying not to say the word fart.
Yes, if you pardon the word. If you pardon the word.
I love that he caught the kid that wrote Bad Wolf. Like,
right?
that he took the time. I'm going to go out and catch this kid and make him wash my TARDIS.
Mm-hmm.
While I stand in it creepily.
Who exactly did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
probably
true.
told him. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess this is the first episode where we really kind of get a glimpse as to the TARDIS being a sentient creature.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't acting the same way that the Doctor wanted it to act.
Right, because it did take them a year from what they wanted to.
Yeah. How did he not catch that? I have a comment on that. Like, it's 12 hours versus 12 months. Like, a time traveler would know.
I think it's like an intentional glitch. And then he did state later on, now I know why I'm here.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, because the TARDIS does what it wants to do. Takes him where he needs, not where he wants.
I was just about to say that.
Yes. One of the things that also, when the spaceship just first crashed, they said, oh, we can't use the TARDIS because there's too many people here. Why couldn't they just time travel in the TARDIS to the crash site before the crash site happened?
Because it'd be crossing the timeline too many times.
It's not like they haven't done that before.
Well, they try not to do it. It ruins things. Don't try to test Doctor Who logic. It doesn't make sense.
Wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Trying to fix it.
Oh yeah, I have a comment on they give the red suitcase, the important red suitcase to the person in the sugar trader guy,
Yeah.
Trader Joe.
That was my question.
Like, why?
Is the British government actually set up this way so that the confectionery sales guy, the head of confectionaries, actually could become prime minister if enough people die?
Well, I mean, if they got to make people happy.
British people, send us your comments.
I suppose. I mean, technically, if enough people do die, then he's the next person in command. I suppose.
But who can make a sunrise? Cover it with dew.
The Candyman can.
Yes.
I feel like in America, if that many people in government died, everyone would just be like, oh, whatever. New revolution.
Twinkies closed for a year, and America freaked out.
That's true.
Your point is
because
invalid.
Because that matters to us. I'm not sure that the death of all of our public officials would be enough for us to say, this random guy going to be president. I think everyone would fight for it.
Well,
I don't think the chain of command goes down that far.
Well, let's have an alien invasion and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Test this theory.
Let's test this theory. Rose's mom is surprisingly okay with Rose running around immediately after she's been gone for a year. You notice that? Like when you were talking about she's on the roof with the doctor. Mm-hmm. Why isn't she there? Why isn't Rose's mom following her like a hawk, as a concerned mother would, after not seeing her child for a year?
That is a very good, fair point.
She is 19, so supposedly she is an adult.
But still,
One can make
When
that
she is on
point.
the roof, her mom doesn't know about the TARDIS yet, so where could they go from the roof?
yeah.
That's true.
Well,
The roof is on fire. No? Okay.
No.
Raised a roof.
Yeah, the Slitheen. I said I don't like their character design, especially with the way that they go from CGI to non-CGI. Like I realized that the non-CGI Slitheen in the hallways when they're running and stuff.
Oh.
Right, and jumping around.
And jumping around, like I realized that the non-CGI Slitheen have movement issues because they're big and bulky and they can't really walk around very fast, but don't have the CGI ones walk fast. They don't work very well
suddenly
together.
become very limber and very vicious.
Well,
and
you could argue that an object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest stays at rest.
Okay, Isaac Newton.
Let me push up my glasses. I'm just saying that, that could be that reasoning behind that.
yeah, they do become a lot more hunter-ish.
I'm very
what's that guy
impressed
from
you noticed the
X-Men?
difference, 'cause I didn't
Oh, you
catch
didn't?
That. No.
Oh.
It's only my second time watching these 2 episodes, however.
Oh, I
so-
suppose, yeah.
But still, good catch.
Fresh
But
eyes.
even hunting in the room, though, like they're hunting, like even if they were toying with the humans, you would expect them to like move their arms around and pull things. All they did was
Snatch.
rotate on the spot and talk to each other, because that's presumably all the motion that their big dolls could do.
Well, for that, you could argue that because they did state that, man, you can smell them. You
Yeah.
can smell their fear. So they would have known that, hey, they're in this room. I know exactly where they are. Let's just make them sweat it out for a little bit longer.
Yeah. I guess you can pass it off as them toying with it, but it still got the feeling of them being clunky when they're in their suits.
Clunk, clunk, clunk,
Clunk, clunk, clunk, clunk. My 2 favorite parts about this entire thing were Rexicorica phalabatorius. That's
Bless you.
Thank you. That was the best name of a planet that I've ever heard. I think that was really awesome.
Thank you,
It
Russell
even-
T. Davies.
Yes.
It even flows well. Like
Rexicorica if you can say it.
Phalabatorius.
Rexicorica phalabatorius.
Rexicorica phalabatorius.
I used to be able to say it.
I've never been able to say it.
My
Nope.
favorite my favorite scene in this entire 2-part series is when Rose's mom was on the phone with the doctor and saying, "Is my daughter safe?" I think that was a really strong interaction between her and the doctor, because I felt like that's really her entire character.
Right.
Is making sure that Rose is safe.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's not safe, then
Like a good mom.
like a good mom, State Farm is there.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think that was a really strong, a necessary part of her. Like it brought out what you needed to know about her, even if she's like the one dimension of character. That's what you need to know. That's her purpose, and I think that's how she would describe it.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely. Another thing that kind of stood out to me, especially when they were trying to defeat the police officer Slitheen in the...
Sorry, continue. The dog needs to go out. Nature calls.
Of course.
He must call back later. No, not with the dog.
When they were trying to defeat the police officer Slitheen in the apartment building with the vinegar, I can't tell, or I can't decide whether the vinegar was a kind of a bullcrap answer to a solution, or if it was genius, as far as the way that they went around to figure out how to kill these things. I'm leaning towards genius, personally.
Bit of both. Let's be honest.
Bit of both.
Bit of
Yeah,
both.
bit of both.
I mean, there are maybe not that dramatically, but there are things that act as poison to different species. So
Sure.
admittedly, there's probably something that acts as it would be very lucky, but I mean a pretty genius way, I guess, to handle that kind of situation.
I mean, he did say
Plot-wise.
calcium decay and
Yeah.
then go about it that way with the
Sure.
scientific.
So it'd be more scientific explanation. Now, I guess my question would be, does vinegar actually decay calcium? Does anybody know that?
I mean, if you stick a pearl in vinegar, it'll decay, but I don't know if a pearl is made out of calcium.
I feel like it
Presumably,
is.
presumably the story of Hannibal. I mean, they kept the story of Hannibal.
And that's a true statement?
I mean, there are a lot of stories about Hannibal.
Oh, I
I
suppose.
don't know them all, but I mean, I would accept. Usually, when we tell mythology on TV, it's fairly it's at least based in some kind of tale.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the rocks then would be calcium
Sure.
that they were able to dissolve with vinegar.
Jeez,
So,
how long
you
would
know,
that take?
Would make sense. What scientifically doesn't make sense to me is creatures comprised of calcium doesn't, at least from what we know of science work.
Sure. Well, you have to take some leaps of faith, I guess,
Yeah.
on that. The quote, "Victory should be naked."
Yes.
Throw that out
Throw
there.
that out there.
Yep.
You're gonna see that on a T-shirt. You can buy it from Amazon.
Yeah. We're gonna make a shop.
You should put that on a
Take
T-shirt.
Take it to Comic-Con.
Jeez.
That's gonna be our only thing we sell. Victory should be naked.
Oh, the
T-shirt.
irony.
Yes.
Oh.
Buy our T-shirt that says "Victory should be naked." That's consumeristic America for you right there.
Wow.
Honestly, my favorite. I hate to say my favorite. I did like the episode, but my favorite, not really plot related thing in the episode was I just wrote the websites.
Mhm.
Like, you straight up had Oregon Trail for missile defense right there. Like, that was just Ricky playing the Oregon Trail game in real life.
Oh, sure.
With a missile.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. And I loved watching that because it was so accurate for the time, but so ridiculous. Like,
Mhm.
there's going to be a giant red fire button on the missile defense page that lets you fire that missile. It's
It's
great.
not a command prompt. It's not anything else. It's a big red button.
Yep.
Well,
Big,
that and
big
the
friendly
secret is
button.
buffalo. Just
Buffalo.
over and over and over again. Come
Yep.
on.
Buffalo, 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 buffalo.
It's
That
not
is a
even
complete
rotating
sentence.
passwords.
That
it's
is a
just
complete
buffalo.
sentence. That is true.
I did love that the word was buffalo, so you literally had to buffalo your way through as a verb. Like, that was...
Yeah.
It overrides everything, which is the meaning of the word buffalo.
One of them.
The verb
Mm-hmm.
buffalo, to violently override. So I really
Welcome
like
back, Moose.
Thank you. I can shuffle off to Buffalo,
That's a noun.
like I learned in my tap dance classes.
that. Indeed.
Buffalo.
Buffalo, buffalo.
And
Learned how to-
Lexi is a faffer.
Buffalo,
Of course, she's just faffing all over the place.
Buffalo.
I loved Harriet Jones's brilliant plan with air quotes. Just, oh, here's a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't go in. Oh,
Oh, you
darn, you
spoiled
saw
my
through my plan.
brilliant plan.
Like, just, she's so
She's-
upfront about it. It's just wonderful. Like,
She is by far one of my favorite characters, especially in this first season.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bright light of incredibility
Mm-hmm.
that just from the moment you meet her too, it's incredible.
I really, really, really like, backtracking a little bit to the scene when the Slitheen are chasing after Rose and Harriet, and they find them in that room, and they start to go to kill Rose, and Harriet just breaks out, and she's like, "No, take me first." And I think that shows a lot about her character right there with that line of,
Oh, absolutely.
this is a woman with good morals. You can tell that, she realizes Rose is so young. Me, I've lived my life. Take me first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Motherly instincts.
And good leadership.
Yes.
Absolutely. Did you have anything else that you wanted to say about what stood out to you or plot holes that you thought about? Because you were out for a little while.
I know I was. I do think it's interesting to when the Slitheen are in their meat suits, that some have actual zippers on their foreheads, others do not. And I feel like it always depends if the character has a hat on or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the policeman, he took that off in Jackie, he took his hat off in Jackie's apartment, and bam, oh my gosh, look at that zipper on his forehead.
Yeah, I
I
feel
wonder
like-
what that's for.
Yeah, I feel like all of them should have had the zipper there the entire time.
Yeah, it's
and not
just-
just have when I want to unzip, then you can see the zipper.
Yeah, inconsistency right there. That just kind of has always irked me. But
And it's always annoyed me that they have to use both hands, but I realize why they need to use both hands, because it's a prosthetic that they make sure that it's
Yeah.
not coming off so that they zip it.
yes, limitations in costuming in 2005.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, overall, this two-parter is not necessarily episodes that I am just going to watch out of, the blue of like, man, I really miss those Slitheen.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they're interesting people. But it does set up for an interesting episode later on that takes place in Cardiff.
Right. Yeah, this is a kind of a setup for another. Is that another two-parter? Or is that just a one
I don't
episode?
recall off the top of my head, but
Usually.
I think it's just one.
why
Okay.
on earth did they have to make this setup a 2-part episode?
I think this is really where the series starts picking up steam, though.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, this is the point where I remember being the first time I saw through, like, where, all right, I need to watch more. I need to know what's going to happen. This is starting to get interesting.
It kind of reminds me of, like, if you ever watch old Scooby-Doo episodes and they start running and like they don't go anywhere at first and then they go when they run, like the old cartoon trope, It's like that. Like the first couple of episodes, they're not really going anywhere, but they're trying.
I thought
And
that
then-
was just Hanna-Barbera animation.
Oh, absolutely. That was Hanna-Barbera, yes.
Oh, sorry. I always called it Barbara.
The Roadrunner style. kind of
Roadrunner
thing.
style, yep. And this one is it really, looking back, especially since we've gone through the Doctor Who as a whole, all of us, I think that this is really the first time that it actually feels like a Doctor Who episode.
I was just gonna say too, yeah, the Doctor I feel like was different here. It's the first time we see him bluff, I think, to get out of a situation, which is something he does every time from here on out.
Yep.
He always
And
bluffs.
the ultimatum
Yep.
that he gives the Slitheen, it's
Give you one chance.
perfect.
Yep. It's the Doctor for the first time, and I don't like his personality takes off of themes that start in this episode for the rest of the time that we've been watching, really. He doesn't break from this character that they establish finally here.
Yeah, I will agree with Moose and say that this isn't by any means my favorite, even my favorite two-parter episode,
Right.
or any episode whatsoever. But I do think it has a good anchor.
It does, and it really does start ushering us into the modern age of Who, with how the episode styles are going to be. There's a lot more running
Yeah,
in this episode, not quite as much fidgeting with the sonic screwdriver as which will come.
right,
But
He
right,
does, though.
He
which
does.
The other episodes he literally didn't at all.
right.
some nice fidgeting there.
And for me, this was a big episode where you see the Doctor use the excitement of the unknown and space in general to manipulate, to make sure that Rose goes with him.
Mm-hmm.
You see him lonely in some aspect or another from that, and that's manipulation. Like there's no way around that.
I was not happy at the end when he started going off and not wanting tea with Rose's mom.
Yeah.
Like, at the beginning of that episode of the two-parter, he goes, everything is important. But at the very end, he clearly doesn't believe that everything is important because he doesn't even take time to reassure Jackie over tea.
Right.
I think that's
It's all domestic.
That's a Doctor's character flaw of being afraid of letting people get too close, because if you connect it to classic Who, there were lots of terrible things that happened to his past companions, and he got to know them just too well. And then, everyone was gone.
Sure. I guess you would have more understanding about the classic Who than
Not that
us.
of course not that I've seen all of them, but I have done lots of reading about the past episodes.
You and your research. You're like Mickey.
I must do research.
She's much better than Mickey would ever be.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Let's not compare the two, please.
I do like
Ricky.
I do like Mickey's character development in this episode. He really kind of shines in this episode, and you kind of learn to like him. At least I personally.
You could see this episode as a turning point for him of what is to come down the road in many, many, many more episodes to come.
Yeah. I mean, it's a growing phase, but I feel like
it
he
is.
good step forward.
Definitely. He's not a weenie like he was in that first one.
Oh, such a weenie.
Leave him. Yeah. Leave him.
And he even makes the development during this episode, like from a total weenie to something better and a little more
Yeah.
upstanding.
He was still a weenie in the first
Yep,
part.
he
Yeah.
was.
Come on, he busted out that baseball bat ready to... Why did he have a baseball bat? He's British.
Yeah, it should have been a...
played.
Did baseball make it across
and
the
he
pond?
likes and he only likes football, soccer, I guess, but football's his thing.
Why
Footy,
does he
yeah.
have a baseball bat?
Asking the real questions right here.
That's
This-
where we're at.
This is the important... Someone get on the phone with Russell T. Davies, please.
Honestly, I would.
I'll get right on that.
I would,
Big
if I had to
speed dial.
start somebody on an episode that I wasn't sure if they were going to like who, I would start them here, needing to go through from the beginning. I don't think you'd,
Do you hear
you'd
that?
really miss
Yeah,
too
I do.
much. I would start them. So just advice from Light to listeners out there. Like I would start somebody here, honestly, and then maybe go back to the first three. Like, oh yeah,
I think you
for
did,
posterity's sake,
Is that
when you drug me into this
I may have.
craziness that is Doctor Who.
Drug.
I think you started me on these 2 episodes to prove that the monsters weren't, quote, that scary. Thanks.
Yeah, and I mean, look at them, Slitheen. Come on.
That worked out for you, didn't it?
Yeah.
You're
Big,
not afraid
tall,
of
fat
You're not
babies.
afraid of overly large people or anything.
No,
Or
they
farting.
aren't quite scary at
Or
all.
farting.
No,
Yeah, pardon the word.
If
Pardon the
you
word.
pardon the word.
let's not be rude here, guys.
It's
Come on.
completely
Oh,
natural.
that's awesome. Natural. Well, I think that ends my comments for these 2 episodes. Does anybody else have anything?
My least favorite things about the episodes were the sounds and the lights of the Slitheen.
Yes.
I could not stand that. It was just
Yeah.
like it was just way overdone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there were a few things that I thought were way overdone, like the "There's always been a way." It just puts Rose at risk, or the whole world dies. Like, I didn't think that was necessary. After,
Especially early on, like this early,
Yeah.
that ultimatum doesn't work as well.
Yeah, I mean, the doctor had an ultimatum, and Rose's mom was keeping her safe. Like, I understood that, but I think it would have been fine if the doctor just had an idea, like, oh, we're in the missile database, cool, we could do that. This is a brilliant idea. I think that would have been a lot better than, I don't want to risk Rose's life
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun.
over everyone's, including hers. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. Anybody else last thoughts?
Nope.
Well, I can't wait for the next episode.
Yes.
'cause it's
Next
the-
episode is Dalek,
It's the
Yay.
it's the episode that Link over there started me on
and I regret everything.
all those years ago, and I will not let him forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I will have words, many, many words.
I'm actually looking forward to
This
what
next
you have to
episode.
say about this next episode.
so many words.
I'm sure.
Daleks.
I'm
It'll
sure.
be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone online for joining us today, and please consider supporting us on our Patreon page. If you aren't following us on iTunes, please check us out on iTunes at Talktor Who. We're also on SoundCloud, depending on where you're looking at this. All of the links for our online activity will be underneath this podcast, so please make sure to check out all of that. Until next week, this has been Link.
Light.
Jen?
Moose.
Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you later.